So, y'all, Program Podcast. I am Rashad. We have Ray as well as Rikus. Rikus' dogs is barking in the background, so
What's up, y'all?
be quiet. It's too late here. Hey, yo, so this week is about me, so I'm not going to interview myself.
I mean, you can, but we ain't gonna do that.
You're really weird.
I mean, we talk to ourselves every day, right?
True.
So, Rashad, tell us about yourself. Give us a little background. Who are you? What do you do?
Bartholomew Jones.
What interests you? What's your tick?
That's a lot to unpack, yeah. All right, well, I am Rashad. Rashad, what? Am I good? I'm Rashad. I'm a black man. I'm a parent. I'm a husband. I'm a son. I'm a brother, cousin. And to you guys, I'm a brother and a friend. So I was born in New York. I was basically reared the majority of my life in North Carolina in a very small rural town named Winton. Winton is basically a town that has no stoplights, and it's pretty boring. But that's where I spend my formative years and my teenage years in high school or whatnot. And I have people that still live there right now. I'm currently in Virginia. I'm a school teacher. I teach high school English right now. I am in school myself, getting my master's in educational leadership. What else? Real quick. I went to Norfolk State University, and I was in the Spartan Legion marching band under the direction of Dr. O'Neill Sanford. That was probably probably the best years of my young adulthood. Because I had lots of fun, and it was just a good experience. And like I said before, I am married. I have 3 girls, and being a dad is like the majority of my life right now. So I think that's a good brief overview.
Yeah, but you left out one, unless you said it and I didn't hear it.
What's that?
You ain't say you was a believer.
Oh yeah. On top of all that, I definitely am a believer. I do believe in the triune God, and that is the foundation of which I stand as Riga's Eastern Fries. So I hope that that through everything we do, that we've of course show that we show that that God is the center of our life and the center of our existence and what we do and who we are.
Got you.
Amen.
So when you were a kid, and it's probably like one of the most generic questions you get asked when you were a kid, or you got asked when you was a kid. So what did you want to be when you got older, and does that desires still like burn within you, or has it just changed?
It's an interesting question. When I was a kid, like I wanted to be like an FBI agent or something. Like I wanted to be out here like Black James Bond, because like I used to watch all the Bond movies and stuff. I'm like, man, that white guy is cool. You know what I'm saying? Super problematic now when I look back at it. You're like, oh, yeah, he could just get a girl like that and leave them and they die. That's not cool. Anyway, but like right now, like that's definitely not what I would want to do. Other than that, like I really, at one point in time, when I first went to college, I went there for music media. It was basically like music production. And I really wanted to be a music producer until I realized I had to know actual music theory. And that was kicking my behind. So like the second semester of my second year, I went ahead and switched to mass communications. And ironically enough, I got my degree, but I didn't do anything with it. So right now, I just have a degree that says that I know how to learn, but I'm not even using my mass comm degree for anything. As you can see, I'm in education,
Yeah.
and I should have been doing that all along. Like sometimes what you're meant to do, like you can't escape it. Like I couldn't escape being an educator or teaching in some capacity. Like I didn't want to do it. Even in high school, when I was in band, like I was section leader, I was telling people how to do things, yada yada, and I was like, yo, like I don't want to be no teacher. Teachers suck, and
Right.
they don't get paid. So like, I'm like, I ain't trying to do that. But after a while, like even after I got out of college, got married, had a slew of crappy jobs, ended up doing like insurance
Mm-hmm.
for USAA, and then they ended up leaving, and consolidating branches. So our whole office was closed. I got laid off, and then I went down this road of like really just not having no job, unemployment, like being like straight up depressed for a few months, not even realizing it until after the fact, and having to really get a bearing on what I was supposed to be doing, and it all went back to like, yeah, you need to be teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So God allowed me to start from the very bottom of the education tree. Like I was in there doing ISS assistant with nobody above me. Like I was the entire ISS, and I did it in elementary schools on top of that. So I was in there with like the worst little kids and trying to tell them what to do and being the enforcer and being the bad guy.
Right.
So, I was like, I can't keep doing this. But it got my foot in the door. Then I went to middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, like I hate middle school kids. Like they're the worst. Like that 6 to 8 grade, that like 11 to 13, 14 years old. Nah, yo, I don't even want to talk to you. We're not gonna get along. Cause it's just too much stuff happening at the same time. Like, puberty's kicking in, they really flexing their self with authority, they're trying to learn their voice, they don't know who they are, they stink and don't realize that they smell. Like it's just a whole lot mixed up into one building. So I was like, nah, I can't do this. Then I was able to go through the career switcher program over here at VA, because if you have a degree, you can just have fast track
Right.
your teaching license, because there's always a shortage of teachers. So I was able to do that and got that, and then I started teaching high school English.
Cool.
So that's where I am. Did I ever think I was going to be a teacher? Nah, but like some things you just are just destined to happen. You have no real control over it. It just is going to happen, or you're just going to be like living a miserable life.
Got you. And it's funny you say that, because a lot of times we don't want to be teachers, especially if you got kids already, because you got to teach your kids, and then you see how they act, and then you don't want to deal with that 8 hours a day at whatever school you at. So that's another thing. So I definitely see why you didn't want to be a teacher.
It's stressful, because then like you have to talk all day long. You know what I'm saying? Then when you get home, you have to talk to your spouse, talk to your kids. Your kids gonna want that love and attention from you. Like, bro, like I ain't got no more today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I need, like it got so bad to the point where I would just go upstairs in my room. I think it don't work. Like, yo, give me 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
Close the door, turn the TV on, watch just pointless YouTube videos, so I can decompress.
Right.
And I was like, man, like it just was grinding, man. Like even right now, how the world basically stopped. I was like, man, like I ain't want it like this, but I needed this.
Right.
Just to kind of breathe and kind of re-energize myself. I had to go to school today to like clean up my room and stuff.
Right.
I was like, bro, like I don't miss being here at all. Like I don't miss this right now and I love what I do, but like I'm appreciating the time that I have away from it. You know.
Yeah, and it's also.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh, oh, my fault. This is the last question I got for right now. So you also have an interesting teaching perspective when it comes to teaching God's word as well. So then you gotta like teach on top of that. You feel me? Like you studying, then you talk the word before, then you still kind of teach it, whether it be to us or to yourself or to your kids, your wife. Talk about that as well and how that impacts the way you teach your kids and the way you teach your kids at the school you work at.
Cool. Like the I learned this like vicariously through one of my college professors. His name was Dr. Oyendike. He was a Nigerian guy. He was Nigerian, and he when I was in college, I wasn't living nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just not caring about going to nobody's church or God or nothing. But like I still had the foundation. So when I heard something, I said, "Oh man, I know what that is."
Mm-hmm.
So dude would he was so cleverly interweave Christian principles and biblical principles into what he was saying that it was just so seamless. And I would sit back like, yo, y'all don't see this? He's just teaching us the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole time. And it was like oh my God, I was in his class for statistics and mass comm. My classes would have no parallel to any sort of thing that was biblical. But he found a way in his teaching style to just to get it in there. And that's what I always strive to do. Like I may not be very overt about what I say and how I believe, especially in a public arena. But like since it's who I am, this is gonna come out. You know, and more or less, especially like in at school and at work, it comes out from a very moralistic purview because we're supposed to be teaching kids the right things to do.
Right.
Especially when it comes to where we live in regards to cultural sensitivity as well. Like I always try to tell them, like, okay, like you're not seeing this because you don't excuse me, like you don't have to live this, but you don't know anything about this. So you can't really speak on it. But what you need to do is come from a place of empathy so you can actually be able to be understanding, even though you never went through it. And that's like a big part of my message. Like being Black, being a teacher, is not as we're definitely the true minority. So I always have to speak from a place of my experience and also just my Blackness. And you have to respect that because one, I'm not stupid. Two, I know my job. And three, you have to listen to me because I am the authority in my class. So those things combined, I always try to tell them like, look, you're gonna have to do certain things in life. I always try to interject a lot of allegory and like my own life into it. Excuse me, just so they can understand who I am and what I stand for. And it doesn't have to be me being something, oh yeah, like I believe God. It doesn't have to be all that. Because after a while, they're gonna realize and understand that, oh man, like yo, Mr. Jones is like he was really up there low key preaching to us. We didn't realize it. Like you don't have to be like waving your flag every day. You can just live your life. Be the example.
Dope. Go ahead.
All right. So let's dive into your role as a father. You have 3 girls.
Amen.
So we talked about your childhood and your experiences, and, where you grew up, and we kind of touched on things that you experienced. How did all of that shape your view as a father of 3 girls with 3 very strong, very different personalities?
Oh, it's crazy, Reed, because I always wanted to be a parent. I had this innate feeling that like, yo, like I should have my own kids and rear them a certain way. I didn't realize that one, I would be doing it as young as I did,
Mhm.
and also like I knew parenthood was hard, but
Mhm.
the level and depths of difficulty and rigor of of having a child was it was nothing like I've never done before. Like it just was like, yo, like this is hard. And this is it was not relenting either because you have to do it. Ain't no breaks from that. So especially early on, like it was just like me and Keisha, my wife, and just, our oldest. And it was just us. And we had to really figure that thing out. And it was a lot of times where I just didn't like I was like, yo, like I'm just trying to hold it together. Yeah, and even in that, like because I was so young, I always felt like I had to prove myself, not even to myself, but to other random people that I didn't even know.
Right.
Because like a lot of times, like especially early on, like it'd be me and Des, we be in the store, she in the stroller, or I got her in like the little like snuggly, and people be wanting to approach me and like talk to me and like touch my baby, and I was super protective. Like I was like how Ray is protective right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I was maybe a little worse than that. And I would be real nasty with people too. But just because I wanted to establish a certain boundary.
Not you.
Yo, I was like, yo, you gonna have to back up, yo. Like, you gotta touch your baby? No, you're not touching my baby. I think this is. Oh, nasty self. You touch my, I don't know you. Or it'd be like, hey, oh, that's a cute baby. Oh, who baby you babysitting? Like that would really get on my nerves. I would
Okay.
be like, yo, I can't babysit my own child. And just walk away. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah. So the harshness of me really was like it was multiplied when I became a father because I felt like I had to protect my child. I didn't understand that I could finesse that situation. Like it was either one way, like I'm gonna do this way, or she's gonna be taken advantage of. Somebody take advantage of us, or I have to be her voice. That was my thing when they were young. I have to be their voice. Like they are mine. I'm responsible for them, so I have to be their voice. So the voice that other people heard, especially if I didn't know you, was a voice of harshness, and also a voice that was leaning towards anger. It was the straight anger at people for even wanting to question who I was. That pissed me off. So to I was like always upset about that. Like I don't know you. I gotta prove myself to you. But
Right.
in and of itself, I always try to.
So I think that one of the things that you experience as parents that you kind of have to navigate is that you start to see the older your children get and the further in life they progress and they start to come. I think that you start to see some of your best and worst characteristics reflected in your children. So how is it that you navigate or you respond to those areas that you see of yourself that may not be your favorite area of yourself, and then how do you not overtly show favoritism to whoever may show the best parts of you.
That's a good question. I mean, because I think we kind of just naturally do that. Like sometimes without even knowing,
Right.
we'll just be like, "Yo, like just because you have a child that you can talk to on a certain level, and you know what it is, it's like you will try to gravitate. You know what I'm saying? Just unknowingly, and you go, hold on. I can't do this. I have to be. I have to show fairness. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to be fair. I have to have a certain level of fairness because what'll happen is you'll have the kid who has this like skewed version of childhood, and then it's always been a constant thing where like, well, who the favorite was. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, like you ain't show us no love. You know what I'm saying? Like what are you talking about? Everybody ate. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't miss no males.
But one person ate better than the other one.
Oh yeah. So, but like, yeah, so like, that's funny. Yeah, but it has to be such. You have to be so cognizant of it, man. Like, especially when we had like we had Des first, because Des was by herself for like 5 years, and then Maddie came along, and then Maddie was, of course, she was a baby, so we had to make sure that there was balance in that. And then when Nia came on, it was like, yo, like y'all gonna have to help out with this because y'all like, y'all older. So, and it's crazy even right now, having to balance the notion or the idea that we are playing that we have a favorite or we play favorite, so we show favoritism. So I like it's difficult at times. I can't even lie. Like sometimes you be like, yo, like I don't want to talk to you. Sometimes like I don't want to talk to none of y'all. All y'all leave me alone. Y'all go talk to each other. That's why y'all sisters. So but in regards to even like when I was growing up, like I knew like I was pretty clear that they always favored me. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't want them to have this feeling of like, yo, like I see you in the back. I don't have to have this feeling of like dad showed me more love and like he's like dad love me more than y'all. Like that's not cool, So I try to make sure that I don't do that. I hope I answered your question.
You did, and I have one more because I'm not really sure where we are as far as time.
You good?
We, excuse me. I know that before the three of us had talked about the idea of examples that we've seen as far as in Black male masculinity. Well, I guess male masculinity is kind of redundant, but Black masculinity.
Black,
And so we have not, always seen the best examples of emotional intelligence or emotional availability. How has how have you been challenged in that area? Being in that role of a father, and how have you kind of adapted and shifted to meet the needs of your kids?
That's an awesome question. I feel like, especially when we started going to church, like that idea, even though it wasn't the term wasn't coined, emotional availability at that time, like the idea of it was definitely starting to unfurl. Like I never forget, like you in church, you got to go to like youth conferences and crap all the time.
Mhm.
So one time we went to a youth conference with the now Bishop B. Courtney McBath when he was still pastor, and they had this like some of the youth leaders there, and it was like, okay, what are we gonna talk about? So two dudes come together. He's like, look, he said, being a man, like you gotta understand that it's okay to show another man love. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay. So like, so what's the point? So dude was like, even like when it's a thing about it. It's like, even when y'all when y'all greet another guy, which y'all dap him up, right?
Mhm.
Like, yeah. He said, yo, like watch this. They come up to each other, how you doing? They just straight up like embraced each other. It's like, what are y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm like 14. Like I've never like really seen no two dudes like straight up hug each other just on the humble, not because you sad or something happened, you know what I'm saying, or another like adverse situation, just because that's just how we greeted each other. And I was like, I'd never do that. That seems really whack to me. But then as I got older, there's some people that, especially when I got to college, the people that would not accept a fight. I know my one friend, like he wouldn't even accept a fight. He like, no, come here, give me a hug. Like what? And that's why you just kind of give in because like that's how they express that they care for you. You know what I'm saying? And like these people really did. There's some people right now that I see. I don't handshake. It's only hugs. You know what I'm saying? So like I had to get to a place where I was emotionally available for just regular folks. And when it comes to my own children, like it wasn't as hard to transition because I'm an affectionate person. I know I live this oxymoronic life where like I just feel like I live most of my life really angry, but deep down inside, I'd rather show people love. Like that comes to that's like the heart of who I am. I much rather like love. I much rather have fun and laugh. Like be real relaxed, and that's really where I want to be. So when it came to my kids, like I was always trying to make sure that I exude love and show love to them, and make sure that they feel loved, even even through discipline. I wanted to make sure to feel like, hey, like you have to do. This is happening because you did this, not because I'm angry. I try my best not to discipline out of anger. I failed. I failed my kids so many times, but they still love me, and I still put in enough love to them that they know who I am and what my real intents are. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That was my last question. Rayvon Lavoisier, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
I don't know who that is. Anyways, so that's good that you touched on that, just because, like you said, a lot of us didn't experience that emotional, whatever you said, some fancy word, dude. I don't speak fancy.
Availability.
Just being emotional. Being emotional was not displayed, at least for me either.
But wait. Notice Ray talking about he doesn't speak fancy language, but he has the most degrees out of all of us.
That don't mean I speak fancy words.
I got like 8 degrees on it.
Right.
I have 3.
2 more than I got.
But that don't mean you speak fancy. There's a lot of people that go to school and ain't learn nothing. They was just there.
Sure.
Anyways, but being emotional, like you said, wasn't shown in your household as much. It definitely wasn't shown in mine. The only person that did was my grandma, but at a certain age is when she really showed it. Like, of course, when you're a kid, you get shown that emotion that you need, or that love that you need. But as you get older, you don't see it as much because they let you live on your own. Or I guess it depends on where you grow up or where you're from or how people perceive that. But at least for me, my mom didn't show any emotion. I never seen her cry till I went off to college. I never seen my grandma cry until she couldn't do something for me while I was in college. I never seen my uncle cry until my grandmother passed away. So like that emotional state of being emotional was never displayed. Only like you said, anger, or the only thing I saw from them was how to hustle. Like it ain't no time to sulk or do whatever. You got to get up and keep moving because that problem gonna continue to be there. Blah blah blah. But as I got older, I learned that you can't do that because that's gonna hinder you from growing and being able to show love to other people.
Yeah.
And that's how I think about that. But I think my last question is, what do you have planned for the future? At least, like, what are your goals for the future? For you, your family, for photography, anything in that nature?
Future-wise, man, like I'm really trying to just own my craft, especially with like photography.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said on the first 5, going for y'all, like I wouldn't even be shooting anymore. So like I definitely want to continue to get better with that. What's really got me excited, to be honest, is like this right here, and also with the pod I got with Keisha, my wife, hanging with the Joneses. Like it's just so much potential for that and for this, and I'm really excited about it. I just staying consistent, staying focused, staying grinding. That'll definitely get us where we want to be, and just really just laying a foundation for my kids that like, look, if you something you want to do, and it's something that you actually can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like really grind it out, see it through. I mean, I feel like I shouldn't even be here anyway. So like I'm playing on house money. I was really like had a reflective moment yesterday morning. I was like, man, like I shouldn't have it this good. You know what I'm saying? Like things the way they are right now, Ray and Reed, like it shouldn't even be like this, but they are. So what I have to do with what I have is really cultivate and nurture it, and just keep pushing myself, pushing my kids, pushing my family, and really especially keeping my relationship with God first, and everything else will fall in line. So the future after I finish this degree, you know what I'm saying, next summer, I don't know, we'll see.
All right. Well, that was all I had. But thank you for opening up and sharing uh, your childhood, the current world, and everything else to all of us. Um, yeah, I appreciate it, man. Because you didn't have to do that, but you did. So yeah.
And I appreciate it.
I have another question. One more.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have time for another question?
I think so.
So, um, being a male, being an African American male with a very demanding schedule, with a very demanding family dynamic, with this is a demanding life in general. How do you cope with life's pressures or life's disappointments when things really hit? Because I isolate, I ghost on y'all for days at a time, and then just hey, how y'all been?
Yeah. Where you at, bro? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a good question, right? Like,
That's funny.
okay, I'm gonna be really honest. Like before, like I would have no outlet. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just have to sit here and internalize things for myself. You know what I'm saying? And I was like really like tired of doing that. Like I have friends, but like they were like in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have a spouse, but like I'm not gonna I can't put everything on her. You know what I'm saying? Especially the past few years, she was going through her journey of getting back together in regards to her health. Like some stressors, I just wasn't gonna place on her. It wouldn't be fair.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I really had to rely on my faith, and what got me through, what gets me through, right, like especially right now, is having friends, like having y'all close and nearby, because I'm in walking distance of y'all. So if something pop off, or if I need to talk, or if y'all know like, yo, Rashad not right now, y'all gonna check on me. You know what I'm saying? And like, I remember like the other day, I was at your house, Reed, and like when I was sitting at the table eating that taco, like I was serious when I meant like this is what I always wanted.
Yeah.
Like I always wanted, like I wanted community. You know what I'm saying? Especially ever since the pandemic hit, like I've been walking around people I never seen before, and even in my own cul-de-sac. Like I'm beginning to see and they see my face, and I'm starting to speak. So that whole part of me is really starting to open up, because I was so closed off and so private. Like I didn't want to know nobody. How you doing? But like I realized, like, yo, that's not really who I am. You know, like I can maintain certain boundaries, but like I want to be approachable. I want to be kind, and all those things are aspects of love. Like I want to make sure that I show love and I spread love. So when I go through hard times, like I can't, like if I ever get to the point where like I don't hit nobody up, like it's a for certain issue. Like I'm like, because it's like, because I don't want to do that. Like I want to hit y'all like, yo, what's good? Y'all good? All right, I'm good, and go on my day. So when for me, I have to reach out. You know what I'm saying? I gotta reach out. That's one, and second to that, we just have to make sure that we gotta make sure that we understand our patterns, and start to really it starts to really recognize that, like, look, all right, this happened to me. All right, I think I'm about to do this, then I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna be here. So we would actually stop somewhere in the middle of that and go back to where we need to be instead of falling into the same circumstance every time, that would really benefit us and you and we, like that helps a lot. Because if you know, like, if you know you're upset and you about to isolate, like, don't not answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's because
Yeah,
that's
we're not counseling me right now. We're talking about you.
but I'm still talking about me too. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because like don't not answer, yo. Like that's the only thing that's going to do, that's going to stress us out. You know what I'm saying? You know, or if, like, you know, if Ray just ghosts us too, like, yo, like, he's on the right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, but we all go through these little spurts where, like, yo, like, we don't feel like being called. We don't even feel like conversing. But that's not the relationship we have. So we got to make sure that we maintain that. That's why we have to be. That's why we're accountable to each other. And that's third, accountability. If you have nobody to be accountable to, then you just like an island unto your own self. And that's no man can be that. That's what the sort of quote says. So you have to have somebody that you're accountable to, especially as a man. I feel like as a man, like, men need to be accountable to other men, and that's just the reality of it. If your team will allow you to do dumb stuff and act stupid and don't really care about you like that, you ain't got a real team. I feel like I have a real team. So that's how I've been getting through these hard times over the past, like, 2.5, 3 years.
Thank you for sharing. I'm done for real this time. So, you want to wrap us up and take us home?
Yeah. Well, this program podcast episode 3. I think we're pretty official now. Like, definitely on YouTube. We are on all streaming platforms as well. I gotta check Apple Podcasts tomorrow. I think we should be on there pretty soon too. That's it. We'll talk about another topic next time. We see y'all.